Hi, it's Rock, and today I will embark in the very ambitious journey of teaching game sense. Now, game sense is regarded as something that cannot be easily taught, but I don't think so. I think that some tips can be given, even about game sense, that will make your gameplay better, will make you find survivors much easier, and this is going to be specifically useful if you are the kind of player that ends their chases very quickly, but still manages to lose a lot of games. This is not because your chase skills are bad, but because you're taking the wrong chases. Now, depending on how good the survivors are, identifying the good chase and the bad chase can be really hard. And I agree, game sense has a lot of components that are not always easy to identify, but they come with experience, right? The more you play, the more you think about your gameplay, the more you analyze it, the more you will understand what you're doing wrong, what the survivors are doing, where they are, and which chase would have been better because the survivor was on a gen or whatever. So, first of all, what makes game sense? What are the components of it? Well, honestly, I don't think I can list all of them. It is basically knowing where the survivors are and what they're doing at all time. It is knowing who is progressing a gen, who is healing, who is doing nothing, who is chasing you with a flashlight. Like, what are the survivors doing? What is gonna be their playstyle, and where you should be chasing them. So, some of these components I can tell you right away, and you probably already know. For example, it is better while you're chasing to break a pallet in the way that the survivor is facing, like it can only run towards a dead zone, a natural dead zone, or a dead zone that you made by breaking pallets before. And you probably already know this, right? Another good tip that people learn very, very early is that there is almost never a point in chasing survivors where the generators are already completed. So if a survivor is bringing you to a place where no gens, no objectives are being worked on, it's probably good to leave a chase unless you can kill them like immediately. Um, it's good to look at the HUD so that you see who's healing, who's not, and be like, okay, this chase is probably going to be easier because this person is not healing. These two people are healing, so the game is stalling right now, at least partially. Um, it's good to keep track of where the survivors were hooked, which gens they were working before you started chasing them, because they are pretty much likely to either return to the gen they were worked on when you first found them, or work on a gen very close to where they were hooked, because I don't know, for some reason it's time saving. But all of this and more and more and more actually requires for you to know how this specific group of survivors is behaving, what the spawns are, what are the natural dead zones, where did you break pallets, which generators they were working on, where they were hooked. It's a lot of stuff to keep track of, and I'm sure there is more that I don't even know, that I don't even consider. But I will analyze this gameplay, not this gameplay. You will see the gameplay in a second, where I specifically did a number of things that initially resulted in a very oppressive start of the game on my side, and then I actually decided to air quote lose the game on purpose, which spoiler, I didn't lose. I actually wanted to show how much gem progress, like how much the game can progress if you take one bad chase. But then I was like, no, this is a perfect gameplay to show the game sense, because I knew where everyone was and what everyone was doing at all time, and that was almost never wrong for the entire match. And that actually allowed me to take the chase and win the game no matter what. But two chases like that, and I would have lost. So, without further ado, let's start the gameplay. And I hope this is gonna be useful for you. This is gonna give you better game sense, and this is gonna win. This is gonna win you more games as killer. See you in a second. So, let's start with spawns. People go really out of their way to learn exactly where the survivors are going to spawn, depending on where they spawn is killer. I have a much simpler method that has almost always worked in my favor, which is this. No matter how big your map is, you can mentally divide it in two sides of the same size. One is going to have 3 generators and the other one is going to have 4. So it doesn't matter if the map is square, rectangular, circular, dodecahedral, whatever. We don't care. We divide it in half, no matter its shape. One half has 3 gens and the other one is 4. And that is for spawn logic. If there are 7 generators, which is an odd number of generators, one is going to have 3, the other one is going to have 4. Now, no matter how big the map is, both sides are gonna be smaller than the entire map, of course, and one side is gonna contain 4 gens that are, by definition, closer to each other than the ones on the side that contains 3 generators. And here you are. If you're very lucky, the side which I was here, the side that contains 4 generator has the weaker tiles, while the side that contains the less generator has the stronger tiles, and you will never have to go there ever again. I know, magic. This, if you're lucky, like I was here, this is gonna win you matches from the start, no matter how good the survivors are. If the side with the 4 generators has weaker tiles, like here we're gonna see a jungle gym, a TL, and some filler pallets, you're good. Like, they're not gonna do the generators, no matter what. You will need slowdowns, yeah, but you don't need 4 slowdowns. You can go with 1 or 2 and be very, very sure that you're gonna hold that match by the T's. Okay, so let's look around. First thing I see is that there is only 1 generator here in the corner, very far away from me, and there is country here. Let's pan the camera. There is, of course, generator main. There are already 2 gens here, and this is the completed camera panning, which means that I don't see behind me. I will have to move the camera manually. And I also see that I have 3 of my panras here. This, and there is the excavator, the harvester, whatever it is. On Rancid Abattoir, this is literally the most blessed spawn you could have. We have Jungle Gym, Harvester, which not many people know how to run, and all the panras that we may ever need. All we need now is for... and we also have a gen here. All we need now is for another gen to be very close, and this is the side of the map we want to hold.
Advice in this map.
Yep, 1 generator is straight behind us, and this other one here is Shack. Now, honestly, like, you have Country, Shack, and probably 2 other jungle gyms here. Do you ever want to go here? No, of course you don't want to go here. But it's also very unlikely that the survivors are gonna spawn on these gens that we want to defend. So we start our patrol, but we know that we will probably have to go here to find survivors, unless we just want to give them these 2 gens and never leave this side. But I get bored easily, so let's see how it goes.
Probably don't want to care about that.
Which is also what they say in game. And I go to collect an invitation. It was the event overall, so, you know, I wanted the points more than everything. So we see that we have a TL. This is one thing that is also very important. See what tiles you have. I could see that I had the excavator, but I wanted to check, you know. This is a TL, which is, yeah, it's a tile, but it's a weaker tile than a jungle gym. There is the excavator, and this is a jungle gym. Like, what can I want most? Like, yeah, there are filler pallets, but okay, cool. This is not cowshed. I see a filler pallet here, and there is another TL here. Yeah, the TL goes into Shack, but you know, that there is no filler in between. I am pretty confident I'm gonna do well on this match right here. Also, game sense. If there is 1 TL on this side of the map, it means if there is 1 jungle gym on this side of the map, it means there are 2 on this side of the map, plus Shack, plus Country. If our 4 gens were on this other side, I would not be sure about the outcome of the match again. There is also this, is there a loop there? I don't know. Anyway, we didn't see anyone, and I go here in the gens that we checked first. It's always worth give a check to your gens, but the first gen we have been worked on is this one, and I already see a Nyan. I do the red stain fix for a second, it works. There is someone else. They're very far away, so I assume Sprint Burst. They could have pre-run this, but I don't know, for some reason I assume Sprint Burst here. Holy shit. Susie's fingers are terrible, by the way. She's very far away, yeah, the Sprint Burst or Light. And I don't make this, because I took bad pathing. To be fair, this gen gets completed. And this white runs into me. So another part of game sense is understanding how the survivors are gonna play the tiles and the chases, depending on how good they perform at the beginning of the match. This is sometimes wrong. Sometimes someone is just a little bit confused or is thinking about something else. But on average, if you see someone being as clueless as this white, they could have just hidden in a corner because it was definitely not coming from the corner of the map for a second. They're probably not going to be super good in chase, and you can associate like skill in chase with what they're gonna do. So you can assume that this guy's gonna camp pallets. He's not gonna have the best check spots. He's not gonna pre-run tiles very much in advance because that's not what he did. The mag did it actually. So let's see how he does. I just said him. I'm out of frenzy.
This guy doesn't seem to know somewhere, right?
Yeah, he doesn't. In fact, despite me just hiding my red stain, he uses 0 check spots at all and vaults the window. But then Nia is even more confused for some reason. So you will see this Nia perform much better later in the game. I don't know what was happening at the beginning here, so whatever. But before picking up, I know that the Dwight is here, so I keep going for him because I don't want to get stunned. And I randomly find the David. Up until now, I had no idea where the David was. I knew that the mag was going roughly into main, but maybe she came back. I don't know. She could have also been working on the main gen. But this guy comes here. He maybe wants the palace done. Maybe they were on comms and the Nia said him told him oh get me, I'm under a pallet. He's here. I hit him. And I see that the Dwight is running very far away, so he's not gonna pallet stun me. I just want this down. I honestly don't care. And the David is still here. I don't know what that was. I have to chase him, of course, because otherwise he's gonna pallet stun me when I get the Nia. But now I see that he's blocked the window, so either he's gonna come to my side and I will hear him before picking up, or he has to go all the way around Shack to actually stun me. And if I pick up immediately, that's not gonna happen. So I gather. And I am actually very lucky because she didn't get the prompt. So now I know where she is. She's back here. They're not working on gens, like I'm sure of that. And yeah, maybe the Dwight could be working on gens, but he's still mending. And the mag was here for the palisade, which she didn't get. I am completely fine.
Okay.
She really wants to take a protection hit. I don't know why I go the longer side. She blocks me. I hit her. And yeah, then Yaoi goes free. I am not particularly concerned at this point because I know that he just mended. So David just mended. So if he hopped on a gen, he hopped right now. These two people are busy. And yeah, actually Dwight could be on a gen. He was the one who did the first gen, by the way. So that's actually very likely. We start to try to understand what our survivors do. But Nia makes a very bad play. Like, she ignores the pallet. There was a pallet here. She's like, no, I don't need it. I don't need it. Let me show you. Like, she wiggles free here, right? And I get stunned for 5 seconds. Like, she could go pretty much anywhere. See, there is a pallet here. She's like, nah. And, well, yeah, she dies. I also hear Dwight and with my jolt, and the gen explodes. Now, this is, I don't know if it's a bug. I don't know if it was an intended features, but jolt should not make survivor scream. It does not make survivor scream before the most recent patch. But this happens. So now I know where Dwight is. I know where Nia is, and I know that Meg is probably still around, or she is just right now heading towards the gen. I don't know where David is. Now I can just pick up. I hear footsteps to my right, and I know that Dwight has vaulted this window on the jungle gym. On the TL, sorry. I hook on pain rest because I assume there has been gen working from the David side, but no, it was all the Dwight generator which explodes. David could still be working on a gen, but it would be less progress than this one, which is already very not progress. And we have lost one parent stack to Nia. Everyone is exhausted because of Blood Echo, so sorry. Meg cannot use her Spring Burst or Light that we saw her use before.
I saw Dwight over here.
Dwight came to this direction, and as you can see, I'm wondering about where he is, and I'm gonna hear him because he's injured.
Isn't that so? We could be far away by now.
This gen is not being worked on. The other gen was not being worked on, like exploded after pain rest, not being worked on. The gen in Shack we know was not being worked on, and there is this. There is another. There is like one more gen that I haven't checked yet, which is main. But I see the Meg coming back to hook. I think I was randomly looking gear for some reason, and I see her coming back to hook, and I know she's exhausted. So even if she has balanced landing on top of light or whatever, she cannot use it. She gets down. I don't think I want to use pain rest here because the gens they care about are not being worked on. So I have to actually go out of my way to find a hook that is not pain rest. This one. We see that meanwhile David healed, which means that if it wasn't a gen at some point, he either wasted 24 seconds of his time to heal. I don't remember if he has a med kit. I'm very bad at tracking survivor item. That's true. Or he got healed by the Dwight because the Niad most definitely didn't heal him. She just got knocked. If we see the Dwight healing, that means that we're healing together because newer players will always prefer not being injured, but otherwise, we can assume he wasted 24 seconds of his time. Maybe even more if we didn't have a medkit and rummage the chest. We hook. And now I know that there is no one on the gen straight to my right. There may be someone in Shack, but I want to see these two gens and main. I haven't looked at main for a while. Someone is on this gen, and I hear them. Now, I'm coming from this direction, right? This is an arrow. Like from here to here. This is the hook where Meg is hooked, I think. And I know that this guy's bad. So he can spell it. That is something that you will learn very early into the game that you probably already know. So yeah, I just go for that, and yeah, that works. I think I have to do a pain resoak here. I decide to go for that one. Okay, so this is a really questionable play on my side. I decide to go for that because I don't want to waste my time. Sorry, I don't want to waste a pain rest stack. I know that this person that unhooked is either Nia or David, and David wasted time and working on a gen. Oh, sorry, it wasted time healing himself. So if it was him, it worked on a gen for like maybe 15 seconds. And the same goes for Nia. Like she would have barely have time to find a gen, work on it, and come back to hook. So I don't want to waste a pain rest. I go there. They are healing under hook. And since they already took protection hits, and I know that this is Meg, and David was also kind of altruistic before with the pallet save, I know that they will take hits. And I decided to simply drop this guy and go for frenzy hits. I could M1 normally, it would go free no matter. But I prefer going for frenzy hits because it's gonna waste them 12 more seconds from ending. But I get pallet stunned in a very, anticlimactic fashion. So, and yeah, you don't always make the correct decision, and even when you do, you don't always make the correct play. Now here we saw David going to Shack and Meg going to this side of the map, which we absolutely don't give a single fuck about. Absolutely not. Zero. Let's go chase David. Unless he does something very uninteresting that make us say, nah, we've opened this window. We know that someone is working there. He was probably trying to Legion tech me, but I wasn't in frenzy, so I don't know, David. questionable play here.
Yeah, okay.
With his scratch marks and blood. Is this David? I'm not too sure, honestly. I go take a look. There doesn't seem to be anyone. Now remember that you should be hearing the survivors since they're all injured and I didn't hear Iron Will. So at this distance, unless the survivor is hiding like here in the corner, I should be hearing them. But I think I get the invitation. Yeah, 100 blood points. I can pass on the shit. Now we go back to patrolling our 4th gen. Like map spawns. This is not on me. This is how you do without camping a 3 gen, you camp a 4 gen. This is how you win matches without being extremely boring, without tunneling, without camping, and how you develop game sense. You have to play a side of the map. I'm sorry, that's how it works. You cannot play the entire map as Legion and from the very beginning and just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna win every game. No, you're not. Okay, so someone gets picked up here, and this means that someone is here. Now, if I have to bet, I would say that this is the Meg because she's very altruistic.
Someone has picked up the rifle.
So I would bet then, as of now, Nia is on a gen, and I can use one more stack of pain rest on the next person. For some reason, I decide to go this way. This is objectively the incorrect play. I should have gone the other way around this hill. But fine, I have 3 hooks of 4 gens, and they have been doing nothing for the last 5 minutes, except, trying to adjust to the damage I am bringing onto them. So I hear the Mac, and I am in chase, in fact. She immediately heals. I don't know if she had something, or she was just waiting with resilience or some shit. But I don't really care because I am Legion. My first health state is completely free. The person is kind of far away, but I am the kind of person to go for that, let's be honest. Yeah. I don't think I make this, honestly, unless you run into me. I don't. And it's a bad Dwight, but even if this is probably chase-wise the incorrect play to make, because I don't want to chase this guy farther into the map where there's nothing, like here, I now know that this is the gen they're working on. Because I actually saw every other gen. I took a look at basically every other gen. This is the only one they were working on. I decide to actually chase this guy on the other side of the map. I guess that's because this was still very close to main, which is the same gen, the only gen being worked on, and because I'm confident I can end this chase in literally 5 seconds. Everyone is injured except for David, and my blood icon is gonna prompt by the time I hook. Yep. Yeah. It's not super. Yeah, I don't get entire lobbies like this, but one survivor, yeah, that kind of happens actually. So this guy, yeah, maybe he's playing with friends. I don't know. Sadly, another person healed. My build echo prompt is gonna be very miserable, but it's gonna be a parent stack if I have one. I don't. Sag. Honestly, this chase could have simply not been taken. So now this guy is that hook, I think, right? No, it's his first hook. Okay, speaking about game sense, yeah, this was a chase not to be taken. If this guy was not as clueless as this Dwight was, like fuck that, this would have been a good chase. This would have been a horrible chase. The only reason why I took this is because I was 100% sure that it would have gone down in literal 5 seconds, and if for any grace of the gods it would have not, I would have just left the chase. 4 gens, like go there with a with the mentality of a mule going forward. Go back to your 4 gens. Take all the chases in the 4 gens. The David here is clearly bait. Okay, so this is a thing. Sometimes maybe 2 survivors are working on a gen, or some survivors are working on an important gen, and another one is gonna pretend they're running away so that you chase them. Do not. I take a look, and I ignore this gen. I don't even kick it. Like the time I will spend kicking it would be time wasted that I could have employed in chase or patrolling the gens. This mag is the only exhausted person, which is kind of okay because it's the only person I saw using exhaustion perks up until now. In case you were wondering, I am blind to made for this. Like I don't recognize the perk. I'm sorry. Only in endgame with hope, but otherwise I really don't see it. 6 minutes, 0 gem progress. I saw Ania. I also see the scratch marks. She takes the invitation. Completely fine. Yeah, she had the medkit shield herself. And now we need to find the mag. This is gonna be the mag for sure because the David was on this side here, arrow, on this side here of the map, and Dwight is a knock. So let's go find the mag. We can either hit her or just cancel and get her. I decide to hit her because, you know, in the eventuality that I can chain hits, and then I cancel. Now, this is the perfect, correct play, okay? So she goes here, right? So first I hit the Neo. Let's see this again because this is more about chasing than it is about macro gaming. It can be helpful. Okay, she's running towards the center of the map. I fake this so that she goes there, straight into the dead zone. I hit her, and I go back here. Now she can only be here, and wherever she, like on my right, wherever she goes, she is either harvester, but she has to go through here to actually get on top of it, even assuming that she knows how to run it. Otherwise, she has to go to my left, which is I think one filler pallet and then main. But I'm pretty confident that I can zone her where she is, and I in fact do. But there is a Nia out of the blue. Like, yes, I zoned the mag, and then you just decide to die. Okay. And she in fact dies. Sometimes the stars just align, I guess. Now I want my pain rest. But I think she was already hooked on pain rest. I in fact get no pain rest. So now I need to down the mag and get my pain rest. She's not as well zoned as before, but yeah. Now, okay, this is a bit cheesy, but servers have been super, super bad during the event, so I go for this coup de grace, basically. And it works. I think I am surprised. I also see a crow flying here on the right. Give me a second, I'll show you. Yeah, this is the incorrect way to chase, but I knew that this was gonna hit. See, there is a crow flying here. This has not been Nia, and this has not been me, and this has not been Meg. The crow was here in the distance, like not here on the barrel, in the distance here. So this is info that someone is there, either Dwight or David. And I would assume David coming for the rescue because he was on this side of the map. While I would assume Dwight, being very close to main, is doing main. Yeah, I'm very surprised at this hit, but that happened during the event. I wanna go for a pain rest. I don't know how that hit, to be honest. And yeah, Nia gets unhooked, and since I didn't hear anything, I'm pretty sure it's David. In fact, when I hooked the mag, the pain rest hits Dwight, which I assume is in main. And that's the Nia, and that's the David. I do the same mind game, it works again. And I decide to, I suppose, go after, yeah, I decide to go after the Dwight, which runs into me. This guy is really bad at the game. Like, and I know that a lot of killers will say, you have to tunnel and camp the weak link because that's how we win the game. No, I let this guy play, I let him get his points, and I will eventually kill him, I'm sure, because I know what I'm doing. Yeah, bragging moment, sorry. I hit him, and I see someone else in my killer instinct. Now, this is a lose-lose situation. If this Nia gets hit, they cannot unhook, or I get a 5th hit. So the mag may even die because of this. But what does she do? Oh, in a twist of the event, I think this is, yeah, the David Mans. I have no reason to stay near the hook. I want my fifth hit. I go after him. And he dead. Now, since the only gen they're doing, I'm pretty sure, is main gen. Maybe the ones near Shack have some progress. I wouldn't mind a pay res, but I don't know if I will actually go for it. Yeah, I do. I'm like, yeah, cool. 3 stacks of pay res. And I will have to use my last one carefully. Now, with only two regression perks, one of which is not even particularly good. On an M1 killer that is usually regarded as not particularly strong, and I can confirm, I stalled this game for 8 minutes by simply choosing the right side of the map to chase into. That is all I've done. Everything else was very simple mind games. But I've chosen the right side of the map, and I know where everyone is all the time. I know that someone is in me right now. I am not wrong. This guy is second hook, so I can actually find him. Yeah, this is the only strong window in main. So, yeah, I tried to mind game it because it was extremely bad, but it's not that bad, right? I'm sorry. I should give credit where credit is due. I really thought it would have vaulted into me. I hear the Nia. She's not as terrible as Dwight. Now, here I am very confident I can do really well, no matter what happens. Next hook is gonna be everyone on that hook, and they are 4 gens. And I think this is here where I want to show you that you can take one bad chase and lose a million gens. Okay, the mark is 8 minute 43, okay? So almost 9 minutes. She has drop shack. She in fact does drop shack. And she's healed. So, and I decide to chase into the side of the map where I should not be chasing. Because, yeah, originally this video, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna chase this Nya, like, wherever she wants, and show how easily you can lose a game that you have won up until now. But then it became something about game sense, which is better in my opinion. I assume she vaults this, but she doesn't. They do one gen, I don't know which one though. And it's the middle one here in the corner, so it's not main. Okay, Bloodlust, she has to drop. She actually predicts the respect. Like, see, like, these survivors were not bad. I don't know why they had such a bad start. That I do know. That's because I played really well. And I'm not playing well right now. So I decide to actually leave the chase. It's been less than 1 minute. Okay? But now I have to go all this way here. I said blood, by the way. Another gen pops. I lost 2 gens, because of a 50-second chase. So this is impactful. This is extremely important, okay? Game sense and knowing which chase to take is the best. Knowing that I could chase the Dwight into the side of the map that I didn't want to go to was a good choice, was a good thought, because I knew that that guy would have gone down in literal seconds. 50-second chases are not that impactful, usually, if you have like 1 per match. But look at how much damage it did here. And the point is that I knew it was a bad chase, and I knew I had to come back here. Because otherwise, if I kept chasing her, which as you can see was not a bad survivor, I just put her always in terrible positions, and so I could down her. If I kept chasing her, I would have lost this game, straight up. 1 minute and a half chase would have been enough for all the gens to pop. Let's move on.
Okay.
Main is done.
I think they know how they're done.
And I hear Dwight. Yeah, this guy is a little bit Dwighty. He has been already hooked on pain rest, and I already have this one here. I don't really care. I hook him. Now my 4th-gen is a little bit broken. And yeah, I have this like arch of generators, which is not as easy to defend as the 4th-gen I had before. This game could have gone really, really south. But everyone is on death hook and everyone is injured, and I'm confident I can win this, especially with Jack Paladon. He gets unhooked, so someone was here, and they may be working on the gen in the corner. And these scratch marks do not belong to David. But I'm garbage. They were clearly going into the other side of the map. Okay, yeah, sometimes you just make bad choices. David is there waiting at the pallet. I decide to try to go for some fun 5th hit. They will also have to mend. If this happens, they will have to mend. So I know that they are here. This is also good info. And I know that the Mag is probably trying to work on this gen here in the corner. She's actually here in the middle. And I think I tried to zone her in a very weird way. Which is, yeah, it's a me thing. This was a very bad play on my side. Whatever, now they all have to mend, and Meg is not on a gen, which is also good info. I will assume they're gonna come back to this gen. Maybe even to mend, because why not? But no, they're kind of mending in the middle of the corn there where I don't want to go. This one is probably the one with more progress right now. And there's the Meg. The Meg is check spotting actually pretty well on this one, and she immediately leaves the tile. She probably managed to use a sprint burst, and maybe it was 99. And she is here. These two are healing, so I'm kinda fine with that. She decided not to play the Harvester, which is a very common thing. I don't think I get this, but I think I try. Yeah. I decide to go back to these gens. I need to patrol them very tightly, because now that they're healthy and they're not one-shotable anymore, yeah, the gen goes. That was one bad chase that I took on purpose, by the way. And now I don't have a 4th-gen anymore. For one bad chase. See how one bad chase changes everything? Yeah. I have to kill this Mag. And I know that I do. And she knows that I do. But this pallet is still up, and that's a little bit of a problem. I don't know why I did it there. That was a very bad play on my side. She knows she has to drop this, and I break it. And I whiff again. But she is a Mag, and so she dies. Is she my last parent stack? No. She's just dead. Now I need to see where they are. I'm pretty sure they are not on the farthest away gen on the TL, but yeah, they are here where I left them basically. First of all, I hit the Nia. I go for the Nia first because David is running into the area I want to defend. But the Dwight is here. I didn't even hear him. And I know that he dies because it's the Dwight. So yeah. They are trying to do the gen. I know that they are doing the impossible to finish this gen and get someone out. I hear Dania, she's going to that side of the map, I don't want to go. I know that the other two gens have probably no progress, and this is why they're pushing this one so much. And I know that they're gonna come back here, like no matter where they're going. Yeah, I also see a bird, which means someone is here. Dania pre-runs very, very early, so The crow is back. This is the David. He doesn't know where I'm going. He doesn't want to check spot. And I see the Dwight running back. This gen is gonna get hit by like 3 million jolts. So the Dwight dies here. I hear the Nia, but I decide to hook. No, I don't. Okay. But that was kind of scummy on my side, let's be honest. No, I decide to hook. I don't want to waste any time. I think David is my last stack of pain rest. Not that I need it right now, but it's not like Nia is gonna complete the gen while I hook these two guys. Let's be honest, especially considering that this guy's gonna get pain rest. So I managed to stall the match for 8 minutes, only to almost lose it to a 50-second chase. Yeah. See how game sense is very impactful. I think I can hear Nia for a second, but I still decide to go for the Anuk because she hasn't touched. Sorry for the hook, because she hasn't touched the gen. And I have a pain rest, so there is literally zero way she actually manages to finish the gen in my face. Like not even with attack on minus 2 bucks. And I always give hatch during events, especially on 12 games like this. So I think she either finds hatch or I give her hatch, whatever. Yeah, this must have been at the beginning of the event because I didn't know that I couldn't get more than 2 stacks of invitation. Yeah, the game is almost over, so I guess she's around. Yeah, I just want to get the coins. I already have them. This is it. This is the game. So, 2 things. How to be extremely oppressive without tunneling, camping, slugging, being extremely obnoxious, and from the very beginning of the match, and how to evaluate how the survivors will play, and most importantly, how to not take bad chases. How to distinguish a good chase from a bad chase despite them going in the exact same direction. This is all I had to say. I hope you learned something from this. I guess if you have a question, ask me. If not, well, have a nice day. Bye.